I want everybody to raise their hand if they've ever started a chess game, played their move, been like, I'm so happy, I'm so proud, I studied so much, I know exactly what I'm going to do in this game, and then their opponent plays something like this. Something like g6. What is g6? Well, it's a hypermodern opening. The point of these openings is to try to throw you off. It's like going pawn to d6, because they know you don't study that for hours and hours at a time. We're going to be looking at the art of transposing to bring something from unfamiliar territory into familiar territory, because that's what we want in chess, right? You want something that you're familiar with so you don't get tricked. So let's get into it. We're going to be looking at a game I got against 2800 where I won. Doesn't happen all too often, but it happens. Everybody put on their transposing goggles, the art of transposition. Let's get into it. So what should you do here? Well, many people are like, well, the best way to face it is d4. Do you study d4 a lot? Do you study e4, d4 against the modern? Maybe not. Do you think they study d4 a lot? Probably, because it's the best move. You don't need to play the best move in chess. As Lasker said, sometimes the third best move is the best move. Something like that. It was just more of an artsy way of saying it. Because back in the day, they spoke more proper than we speak today. Now we speak like cavemen. So there's that. But knight c3. Why? Because on this channel, we delve into the Grand Prix, the Closed Sicilian, the Vienna, the King's Gambit. And in all of those positions, you have a knight on c3. So look at this. Bishop g7, f4. Now, the bar doesn't love it, but who cares what the bar loves? It's not even a human, literally. d6. This is the point of the modern. So with this pawn on d6, maybe they'll go knight d7, but eventually they're either going to need to go c5, saying, hey, I'm going to attack on the queen side, or I'm going to go e5 and I'm going to attack on the king side. So you see, you transposed it into either a Sicilian Grand Prix or an e5 kind of King's Gambit Vienna type position. So very happy with this. Now again, it wants d4, control the supercenter. No. Knight f3. Which pawn are you going to push? Right, if he goes e5, I'll take that pawn. I'll be like, thank you very much. I have the open f file when I castle now. It's just a good version of everything I wanted. So keep in mind, what they study is c5, e5 breaks. So bring it into something you study, which is knight c3. Avoid that mainline e4, d4 stuff. Okay, with the Owens is another hyper-modern one. You don't want to play knight c3. You want to bring it into a Tarrasch so that they need to play a hippo. I can do a video on that as well. I did do an Owens video, but I could do a counter to an Owens video too. c5. I'm going slowly, but I'm hoping this all makes sense. c5, right? We did Grand Prix videos. You know to put the bishop on b5 check. Not in this position. No. You go bishop to b5 check, it's just bad. They're going to go bishop takes. Queen takes, they get their knight on c6. They're going to tie your queen down to c2 after either knight d4 or b4. So what was referenced in the video? Bishop e2, the more passive approach. Passive isn't necessarily bad. Early on passivity can be later on activity, right? As long as you're not passive in an endgame. Knight c6, okay, right? They're playing the move order, right? This guy's 2800. El Helvetico. Nico Georgiadis. Does anybody know who that is? Maybe. He's 2800 on chess.com. He's pretty good at chess. Okay, castles, knight f6. Queen e1. See, it's just a Grand Prix. This guy tried throwing me off with the opening. And now, arguably, I'm facing him with something I looked at more than him. So think of that. He responded to what I did, trying to confuse me. And I transposed it back into something that I'm comfortable with. And apparently with the way the game went, he wasn't too... That's an art. I don't care what you say. That's an art. That's an art in and of itself. So we get castles, d3, right? Very common. e6, normal stuff. And b3. Okay, a little bit of a misread. It wants king h1. Prophylactics makes sense. It really wants the knight to come to d4 and then the bishop to d1. But I was like, okay, I'm used to the bishop coming to b2. I know it's not the greatest, but every time I see a Fianchetto bishop, I'm like, I'll be happy with that trade. Knight to d4, what do? Watch the video. Bishop to d1. I'm going to put it all in a playlist because I realized I didn't do that. By the way, I will start streaming. I don't know when. Definitely by April. I'm thinking now I'm going to do it on Twitch because I don't want to funnel everybody into one place. They say it's good to diversify. So we're going to diversify in case, diversify. Pawn to a6. All right, why do they play pawn a6? They play pawn a6 for queenside expansion. They play pawn a6 to go pawn b5. Why did we go b3 to go bishop b2? They go knight d7, right, backwards knight move. He's opening up the diagonal. He's envisioning some like b5, b4 pin. Though if he ever brings that pawn to b4, I have knight a4 backwards guarding. Can't put the knight on d1. All just good things to look at, good lines. So we get knight takes, right? And this is what I got from making that video for you guys. I would never in a million years play knight takes d4 here, but it's the best move. So I'm not married to the idea of not taking now. I'm open to the idea of taking because I made that video. So through these videos, I'm getting better. Isn't that amazing? That's good stuff. It's good stuff, right? When you try to teach others, you end up teaching yourself. It's the most pure way of living life. It really is. It's so, I love learning and teaching. It's just the best. It's the best. Bishop takes d4. All right. So if pawn takes, you know, they get the doubled pawns. You backwards hit the pawn on d4. We talked about this in the video. I'm going to stop mentioning it. But look at this. You just poke and prod and you hit weaknesses. And now their fianchettoed bishop is not the greatest. And your dark squared bishop is maybe not the greatest, but it's a good guy. It's a pretty good guy. So instead, he didn't take with the pawn. He took with the bishop. And remember, in the video, I was like, I'm happy with king h1 any day of the week. I said something like that because I don't use that many words because we speak like cavemen. Pawn to b5. All right. Why did he go there? To fianchetto his bishop. What did he weaken? He weakened this diagonal. So you reconnect your major pieces. You put the bishop on this diagonal. Maybe you'll push the pawn and win a rook if they're not 2800. Limitless. The possibilities are limitless. And remember, if this guy pushes, you're either going to go to a4 or to d1 guarding your bishop. I would probably go to a4. I would, you know, probably go to a4 because when they overextend their b pawn, that guy's pretty chillin'. And then look at this. Look at the holes. It's good stuff. Amazing. We get bishop to b7. Okay, pawn a4. I was very happy when he played b4. I knew that probably wasn't great by him. And then we backwards guard it. So again, if bishop takes, knight takes, you get in through c4. You route it over to e3. Look at this. Look at this. The routes. Look at the routes. It's beautiful. And he blunders, which is beautiful for me. So he should have taken, at which point I'm pretty happy with my position. You know, I'll play this any day of the week. They might go d5, stopping my knight from coming to c4, but I have news for you. It just goes right back. This knight is a tank. It doesn't listen to anybody. It does what it wants. It finds the holes in the position. It wins games. Queen f6 loses games. Why? Blunder. Pawn e5, disconnecting the queen from the bishop. Also remember that discovery? He didn't. He forgot about it. So now he's just losing. I played this game at 98 accuracy, 22 moves, I guess, because he respected me. I took the bishop on b7, that is. He's trying to get complicated with the way he's taking things. Do you move this bishop? Absolutely not. You take the pawn, discovery on the queen, bada bing, bada boom. He has to take with the queen then. You trade queens, you save the piece. And thank you, El Helvetico, for respecting me because he resigned in this position. So, kind of a cool game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Transpose those positions, right? If they try to confuse you, confuse them right back and good things might happen. Thank you guys as always for watching. Have a great day. Peace. Boom.